All right, welcome back. Good to have you on the Super Breakfast Show. It is the Super Breakfast Show right here on Super 93.3 FM Port Harcourt. And it's time for us to look at the issue this morning. And today's issue for us is, the local government autonomy bill. It's that right that gives local government to be autonomous to some degree, of course, to some degree, autonomy from states, financially so, especially. Most important part is that they're financially independent, so to speak. And although there is that bill, it needs to be domiciled or domesticated. It needs to be brought home to us in River State and to many other states of the Federation. And quite a few states have assented to it. A few state houses of assembly have agreed, have made it domiciled in their own states rather. But River State happens to be one of the few states yet to assent to it. And we're going to look at that, what that will mean, generally, what that would imply for local government, should there be some level of autonomy, at least in the way stipulated according to that particular bill. And joining me this morning is a Port Harcourt-based legal practitioner. He is also a good governance advocate. Very importantly, he's a good governance advocate, and he's also running for office, River State House of Assembly, Eche Constituency 2, I believe, under the platform of the Accord. Good to have you on the program, Barrister Chioma Choko.
Good morning, Mrs. Mia. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to have you on the program. All right, so quickly, let's look at what this particular bill will mean. Let's just go straight to the point. What would it mean for local government areas to enjoy this autonomy?
Okay, just before I go into making an explanation as to what it would mean for a particular local government or the 23 local government in River State or places beyond River State, the 774 local governments in Nigeria to enjoy autonomy.
Yes, please.
First and foremost, we must have it at the back of our minds that these things do not just flow. They flow from the statute, which is the creation. They are all creation of the law. The state is a creation of law. The local government is a creation of law. And what law is that? That law is the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, the local government is created by virtue of the provision of a certain provision in the Constitution of Nigeria, giving its power to operate ordinarily independent on its own. That is what it means, independent. That is to say that the local government can execute projects, can, let's say, manage its finances without the interference of the executive arm of the government at the federal level or the executive arm at the local government. Because I say this because we understand that the legislative arm of the government or the judicial arm of the government hardly interferes with the budgetary or the finances of the local government. So what that simply entails is that it means the financial autonomy, because people must have it at the back of their mind that basically the autonomy of the local government has to do with the financial freedom of the local government. Now, what it will entail with respect to your question is that it would mean that execution of project, as a matter of fact, or the finances that are released from, I think, the revenue and physical mobilization from the federal government, that is the arm or the agency or committee that is responsible for the disbursement of finance from the federal level, gets directly to the local government without interference of the state governors. Like what we have today, we have a state where the finances of the local government, like recall some few months ago, JUSUN, which is the body that regulates the activities of the judiciary, as a matter of fact, embarked on a strike, seeking for the autonomy of the judicial arm, which is an arm of the government, which is not even with respect to the local government, an arm of the state government, asking that the state government should allow them to exist independent of their own. But what we had, as a matter of fact, was a flamboyant, sugar-coated young governors who came out to say, oh, the financial freedom of this particular arm of the government has been given to them. Some even claimed that it has been given or released to them long ago. that they manage their finances as a matter of fact. But we still see a situation where, let's say, for instance, the judges in the High Court, the customary court chairman, the magistrate, as a matter of fact, are still being patronized, are still being purchased vehicles, built houses for by the executive arm of the state government. So that, to me, because ordinarily, had it been they enjoy the independence as it's been claimed by the governors of the state, the executive arm will not be willing to release the finances in our own coffer to that of the judicial arm of the government. So that is to say that what we have is a mere ceremonial independence.
But isn't it possible? Isn't it possible and likely that the executive arm is just doing that, out of its prerogative, out of its goodwill, just to ensure that this other arm, even though independent and autonomous, still just enjoy some
to me, I wouldn't claim that yes, it is possible for the executive arm of the government. Yeah, it may be possible, but look at it from this way: the executive arm, as a matter of fact, also has enormous responsibilities to discharge. And once an autonomy is given to a particular sector, what it means is that that particular sector has the ability to generate funds for herself. That is what it means. And the judicial arm of the government, I know as a lawyer, as a matter of fact, I know how much, or I can tell you vividly, that the judicial arm of the government generates almost in billions every month for the state government, as a matter of fact. So if they have been given their independence, what it ordinarily means is that the judicial arm of the government will manage the resources that is coming from our own angle. So it will be almost impossible for an executive arm that has enormous projects to execute to the members of the state to transfer maybe little or even none finance that is within our disposal to that of the judicial arm. But let us appreciate the angle for which our question has come from. We have a local government sector that believes in this is not applicable to Rivers State alone, so that people who are listening may not misconstrue my interpretation. It is applicable to the 36 states in this nation.
Right.
We have a local government that ordinarily exists in its nomenclature. It exists in the name. It has no substantial. The effect of every local government in 74 local governments in this state has not been felt by
23, you mean 23 local government areas?
Yes. No. I want to send it across the nation.
So 774, yes.
Yes, but if we are coming back to the state, that is the 23 local government in Rivers State. I want to tell you vividly that no local government in Rivers State, what we have is a ceremonial independence. The problem is not just limited to the executive arm of the state. No, people must understand that who has the power? The Revenue and Fiscal Mobilization Committee has the powers to transfer the wealth of the local government directly to the local government accounts. But part of my worry, which I've been asking, is that why have they refused? Because this is recognition of the local government as, as a third tier of the existence, of government existence. It is recognized constitutionally. Do they still need a court order, as a matter of fact, for the fund of the local government to be moved from the Revenue and Fiscal Mobilization Committee down to the coffers of the local government? The answer, to the best of my knowledge, is no. So why have this particular agency or committee continued to transfer the funds of the local government to the governor of the state, the executive arm of the state? It is the executive governors, as a matter of fact, that releases the finances or revenues of each of the local government to the local government. That to me, that to me gives the governors of the state, makes them overlords over the affairs, over the financial affairs of the local government. It is practically impossible for the local government chairman, as a matter of fact, not to be subject to the whims and caprices, to the decisions of a governor of the state that pays them like a place where an employer pays its employees.
Interesting. Now, what is the place of the House of Assembly, the Houses of Assembly? And in Rivers State now, what is the place of the Rivers State House of Assembly in all of this?
Now, when you talk about domestication, let us say, I will create an instance.
Yes, please.
We have a law, which is Administration of Criminal Justice Law as a matter of fact. That law was enacted by the National Assembly to regulate the affairs of criminal proceedings in the court and all that. Now, for a state, for instance, Lagos State was the first state that domesticated that particular law. If we look at it, domestication simply means copy and paste.
Right.
Trickle down or borrow
or adopt what has already been made by the National Assembly. Because if you look at it, it is understood that the applicability of such laws are only to the federal parastatals. Now, for local government, they have a state assembly that regulates or deliberates over the affairs of the local government. The local government, the state house of assembly, as a matter of fact, can look at the particular sections of the law that has empowered them to give powers to the local government to operate on their own, commanding or mandating the Revenue and Fiscal Mobilization Committee to transfer the wealth of the local government directly to the local government. So the State House of Assembly has a responsibility of domesticating laws, empowering or removing the account of the local government from that of the state directly to the local government. They have to domesticate the law for there to be full recognition, just like we said there, that the legislative arm of the government, the judicial arm of the government, in the second tier of the government should be given full recognition or autonomy or freedom. And basically, like I said before, we understand in our own Nigerian context that the freedom we are talking about for the local government is not the freedom to work. It is not the freedom to talk. It is the financial freedom of the local government.
Because that's where it really counts. That's where it really counts.
That is where it really counts. And we understand. Look at it today. Some of the local government chairmen, as a matter of fact, most of them, for instance, in the local in River State, cannot pinpoint exactly projects that can be commensurate with the amount of money that has been released to them from the federal government. So some of them can come up to put up claims, which may be wrong, that the governor of the state has at some point or so appropriated local government wealth to himself. So we may not really tell. It is only when we begin to see those projects that can be commensurate with the amount of money that has been sent by the Revenue and Fiscal Mobilization Committee to the local government that we can now see that there is indeed true independence or autonomy, particularly, quote and unquote, financial autonomy of the local government from that of the state.
Okay, now there is that assumption that there is not enough diversity of views